Stop everything you're doing because Caitlin Clark just set the tone for 2025 in the most epic way possible. The basketball superstar, queen of the clutch, and face of the sport kicked off the year as the first guest of the New Heights podcast. Yes, Travis and Jason Kelce brought in the biggest star in sports today, and Caitlin did not hold back. From jaw-dropping career revelations to her mindset after an unforgettable season, this interview is packed with moments that will leave you speechless. She's the most requested guest in the history of our show, and the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year Miss Caitlin Clark. Please welcome her. But wait, what's Caitlin's take on the pressure of being a sports icon? What's next for her skyrocketing career? And why is everyone buzzing about that one comment she made about the NBA? Sit tight because we're breaking it all down right here, right now. Are you ready? Let's go. I appreciate it. I'm excited. I don't get excited about many things, but this was at the top of my list, Caitlin said. The Kelce brothers wasted no time setting the stage, kicking off the show with their signature humor. Jason and Travis dove right into Caitlin's staggering list of achievements, from dominating the court as the most electrifying player in college basketball to becoming a household name. And let's face it, when two NFL superstars are cracking jokes about how your resume makes theirs look short, you know you're in a league of your own. It's the perfect icebreaker that sets the tone for an interview packed with substance and surprises. How many accolades did we leave off? How many accolades do you have right now? Jason asked Caitlin. Caitlin laughed. I think you might have made some up. I don't know, she said, smiling. Jason responded, yeah, I don't think so. I feel like you're kind of like Wayne Gretzky for basketball right now. If you look at the Wikipedia page and check out the list of awards and achievements, it's endless, and he wasn't exaggerating. Caitlin achieved at least 40 records and honors during her senior season at Iowa, and broke a staggering 62 records during her freshman WNBA season. This doesn't even include all her accolades from the first 3 years of college. The entire list is so long that Wikipedia had to create a separate page just for Caitlin's records and achievements. Is there any accomplishment she hasn't conquered yet? The stage is set for what comes next. Caitlin's journey is far from over. Of all these accolades, which one has meant the most to you? Caitlin paused, thinking, and then smiled. Oh, that's a good question. Well, I'd give you the answer my mom would say. It's probably academic All-American. She was really proud of me for being a good student in college. So that's the answer nobody expects, but it's the answer from mom. Caitlin chuckled. I did all right in school, hung in there. She then went on to say, but honestly, all these accolades are cool, but I don't really care about them. It just kind of comes with having fun and doing what you love. Then Caitlin shifted the conversation, bringing a heartfelt moment into the spotlight. She explained how her mom was absolutely over the moon about her being named an academic All-American, a title that, to her family, meant just as much as her dominance on the court. Caitlin shared that all these achievements were simply byproducts of putting in the work and enjoying the game. Breaking records was never her aim. The fun of playing was always the priority, but then came the gold. Caitlin opened up about what she considered her coolest achievements so far. The Time Athlete of the Year was cool too, she said. Just because you see the list of athletes they've had before me, and a lot of those people I idolized growing up. LeBron's the only other basketball player on that list, and it's cool as a woman because they haven't had many females on the cover. So for women's sports, it's kind of special. But for Caitlin, it wasn't just about the title. It was bigger than herself. It's not just a personal accolade. It's a win for women's sports as a whole, she said. This recognition helps shine a light on the progress we're making, from packed arenas to skyrocketing viewership. It's bigger than me. That humility is exactly why Caitlin continues to be such a beloved figure, both on and off the court. The conversation then took a fun turn as Caitlin's fandom for the Kansas City Chiefs came into play. How long have you been a part of the kingdom? Jason asked with a laugh. I'm an honorary member, Caitlin replied with a grin. I'm a Midwest kid. There's this picture from a couple years ago when I was on Peyton and Eli's Monday night show, and I'm in a full Chiefs outfit. I have family in Kansas City, and I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, which is only 3 hours from Kansas City. So yeah, they're the closest NFL team, and my dad was a big Chiefs fan growing up. Her eyes lit up as she talked about her admiration for the team. Caitlin has been following their incredible run for years, and it's clear that her excitement for the Chiefs is just as strong as her passion for basketball. Caitlin's love for the Chiefs runs deep, and with Travis Kelce right there, the banter practically writes itself. She laughed, saying, "People think I'm like a bandwagon Chiefs fan, but I was there before Patrick and Travis. We were riding or dying for them." She paused, smiling fondly. "We've been big fans, and now, with all the success you guys have had, it's a lot of fun for us." From her fondest game memories to the Chiefs' relentless drive, it's clear that Caitlin isn't just a basketball phenom, she's a die-hard sports fan through and through. Who was your childhood sports hero? Jason asked. Caitlin grinned. "My brother loved Tony Gonzalez. What a guy, the Chief." She said, "We'd go to at least one game a year growing up with my cousins down in Kansas City. We still try to go. I think we went to the Christmas Day game last year or maybe the year before. I don't remember, but we were sitting outside in that freezing cold. My toes were about to fall off, and my fingers were close to freezing too. I don't know how you guys play in that kind of weather, but it's fun. We had heaters on the sideline, so it wasn't too bad at Arrowhead." Then Caitlin made a big request to Travis. "I got some time, so hopefully I can make it to a Chiefs game soon. Maybe a playoff game or something?" She said with a smile. Travis grinned back. "I'll tell you what, we punched our tickets, so we're definitely going. I would assume we at least got one at Arrowhead." "You're invited to them all," he replied. "We'll see you there." Caitlin lit up. "Thanks, guys, I appreciate it." Reflecting on her childhood, Caitlin shared more about her connection to the Chiefs. "It was always a big deal." She said, "My dad always had the games on. Whether we were in the basement or upstairs, a lot of times, my family would be cooking. My mom is the best chef of all time, so she'd make amazing food while we watched the games. That's what I really looked forward to most on Sundays. We'd watch the Chiefs, and if they lost, I'd be upset. I still am every Sunday. Usually, it's the brightest part of my day just turning on the TV and watching the Chiefs." Then Caitlin took the conversation to a more personal place, diving into her early basketball journey. She shared how the game had been a constant in her life since day one. "I was playing against boys in my neighborhood, and then in middle school, I started to stand out," she said. "But here's the crazy part, I received my first college recruiting letter in 7th grade, she revealed. While most kids were worried about middle school drama, I was already on the radar of major programs. This early recognition gave Caitlin a jumpstart on her basketball career, setting the stage for what was to come. Her dedication, talent, and work ethic were already showing the signs of the superstar she would become. Let's hear Caitlin talk about that incredible moment when she received her first recruiting letter and how it shaped her path forward. "Yeah, it's true," she said, laughing in disbelief. "It's kind of insane when you think about it. I got my first recruiting letter in 7th grade. I was playing with high schoolers at that point, which seems wild, right?" She paused, reflecting. "It's honestly sad where college recruitment has gone today. It's just insane, but at the same time, I feel very fortunate. My parents were great about it. They told my older brother, 'Go get the mail. We don't want your sister to see this.' They wanted me to be in 7th grade, enjoying middle school, hanging out with friends. They didn't want me stressing about going to college." Caitlin smiled at the memory. "I love it so much," she added, grateful for the way her parents kept her grounded during those formative years. She then talked about how her parents made sure she had the time to enjoy high school with a strong support system that helped shape who she is today. "I didn't really take any visits until after my freshman year of college," she explained. "I didn't decide where I was going until my senior year. I was never in a rush. My parents did a really good job of making sure I had a good circle around me. It wasn't all about college recruitment. I didn't post my offers on social media because that wasn't really a thing when I was growing up." The trio laughed as they joked about how college recruitment has turned into a social media frenzy these days, reminiscing about the good old days when things were a bit more private. "It's crazy how much it's changed," Caitlin said. People were starting to post about offers by the time I was in high school, but now in basketball, it's all over social media. It's all anyone talks about. Times have really changed. Though Caitlin is only 22, she's already reflecting on the shift in how recruitment has evolved. It's clear that she's mature beyond her years, and her perspective is insightful. 7th grade was wild. She continued. I was playing up 2 years, playing with high schoolers, but I never really thought much of it. I was just out there hooping and having fun. All those things like the recruiting letters just kind of came with it. Next, Caitlin reflects on her rookie season in the WNBA, which she describes as a delicate balancing act between fitting in with her new team and standing out as a player destined for greatness. She opens up about how she navigated the challenges of stepping into a competitive environment while staying true to her style of play. As a rookie, you're trying to figure out the new environment, new teammates. Caitlin said thoughtfully, you don't want to say too much, but you also don't want to say too little. It's such a hard balance to find. In my situation, and I'm sure you guys can relate, you're already highly thought of, and people are turning to you to be something or someone. So it's tough. You're trying to get your feet wet without doing too much. That's kind of what I struggled with at first, just figuring out that balance. Caitlin's approach shows her awareness of when to lead, when to listen, and how to elevate her team without overshadowing the collective effort. It's a fascinating look at the mindset of an athlete who is not only skilled, but also knows how to manage the pressures and expectations of being a rising star. Caitlin takes a moment to reflect on her rookie year, acknowledging how much her teammates and veterans helped her adjust to the WNBA. It was hard, you know? It's like you're trying to learn, but also people are expecting you to perform, expecting you to be what they drafted you to be, she said. But I had a lot of really good vets around me. Our team was fairly young, but people had been through it recently, so they knew how I felt. They made the transition easier for me. She's quick to shine a light on the role her teammates played in making the experience smoother. I'm very grateful for that. I feel like the guidance and encouragement from the veterans were huge. It made the journey a lot easier. One example Caitlin mentioned was a standout moment with Aliyah Boston during their first game against the Connecticut Sun. I love Aliyah Boston, Caitlin shared. She poured into me as a rookie. She was like, it's supposed to be hard. This is an adjustment period, but we have your back. That really meant a lot. Then there was Erica Wheeler, who embraced Caitlin from day one. For me, I just wanted to get ahead of it, Erica said. I know the transition is tough, especially being undrafted and a rookie. It's rare for a vet to take you in when you're competing for the same position, but I wanted to make sure you knew that we have your back. That kind of veteran leadership was invaluable in Caitlin's growth during her first year in the league. The trio then shifted gears to Caitlin's welcome to the WNBA moment. She shared a shocking yet funny story from her first game. So my eardrum popped and ruptured, she said with a wince. I knew right away because I've done it before. It hurts so bad. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but it's the worst. Jason was curious. How did it happen? He asked, laughing, was it something crazy? Caitlin grinned, ready to answer. It was very Midwestern. She said, I did it in water. I got launched off a diving board trying to do flips and smacked my head on the side of the pool. The laughter flowed as the group joked about their own quirky stories. That's Midwest stuff, Caitlin said. It's crazy, but it's how I did it. The chemistry between Caitlin, Jason, and Travis was golden. The way Caitlin let the conversation flow both ways, sharing stories and asking questions about their experiences, showed her down-to-earth nature. Jason shared his own story of being launched off a tube in a lake, joking about how he wasn't quite sure if he was okay after the impact. But Caitlin's reflective tone soon took over. That year was life-changing, she said seriously. It wasn't just basketball, it was everything. The highs, the lows, all of it. It made me grow not just as a player, but as a person. It's been a transformative year. Her sincerity in talking about the challenges and triumphs she faced off the court was as powerful as her reflections on her basketball journey. It's clear that Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar athlete, she's someone who understands the bigger picture, the importance of family, mentors, and the lessons life teaches us along the way. When I think about the opportunities, growth, and lessons that have come my way, I'd say it's been life-changing. But in a good way, things change so fast, especially with social media. People get a glimpse into so much of your life, and that's part of what makes it all exciting. It's also why I've had so many amazing opportunities. Looking back a year ago, I was just starting my senior year of college. Of course, people knew who we were, and we had fans at our games, but it wasn't anywhere near the level it is now. I feel incredibly grateful for all the experiences, the highs and lows, and the people who have been with me through it all. That's what keeps me grounded. It's moments like these that remind me why I'm such an inspiring figure, not just on the court, but off it as well. Life just changes so fast, but that's what makes it exciting. I've also started a whole new chapter by moving to Indianapolis. It feels lucky to still be in the Midwest, especially since I've spent my entire life here. And I know you guys love the Midwest too. As for Jason, he's officially an East Coaster now. But Philly? Well, Philly has a little Midwest feel to it, right? I know, Philly fans probably won't agree with that. They'll probably roll their eyes at me for saying that. But hey, it's true. Now, on a totally different note, Caitlin didn't hold back when sharing her honest thoughts on the NBA's declining ratings. She has a bold perspective on why things might be changing. According to her, fans don't always realize how skilled NBA players really are. They might think players aren't trying, but the truth is, they're just that good. The game has evolved, and people may not be used to that. She also mentioned how the league's physicality has changed. While she wasn't around when it was more physical, she believes that the skill level has gone up, which can make the game seem less intense. Some people even argue that the NBA has become too soft, but Caitlin thinks the evolution of the sport is a positive thing. Basketball is always changing, and that's what's great about it. The game has already evolved so much from the days of MJ, and in 10 years, it'll be even more different. It's hard to pinpoint why the ratings have dropped, but let's not forget that the NBA is competing with football right now. Football is America's favorite sport, and that definitely has an impact. And as much as Caitlin loves the three-point shooting and the exciting plays, she also pointed out that not everyone shares the same passion for it. Some fans miss the physicality and want to see more of that intensity. It's about balancing the old with the new and finding ways to keep everyone hooked. So now, here's when the real fun begins. As Caitlin and Jason brainstorm ideas to make the NBA more exciting, they start throwing around some wild ideas for the future of the game. Jason jumps in first. What do you think about a 4-point line? Caitlin lights up immediately. I love that. Let's do it. That's actually genius. Jason, being the criminal justice major, jokes about how he might just have the best marketing plan for the NBA. Sometimes, you just have to open your eyes. Jason, look at the sheet of paper right in front of you. Then Caitlin starts thinking even bigger. We could have to spots where players could take 4-point shots from. But the ideas don't stop there. Jason asks, what about the physicality? Everyone keeps questioning how soft the game's become. What do you think about a hockey-style fight once a game? Everyone picks a fighter, they box it out for 2 minutes, and no one gets ejected. Caitlin doesn't hold back, replying, I'm all in. I like that idea. The conversation moves on to NBA All-Star Weekend, and Jason shares his thoughts. I think it should be East versus West again, like it used to be. No doubt. That's the way it should be. That was what made it special. Caitlin agrees, saying, exactly, that's what it was about. The best from the East battling the best from the West. Let's bring that back. But it's not just the All-Star game that's on the chopping block. Jason shares his opinions on the NBA's in-season tournaments. Honestly, I'm not a fan of these in-season tournaments the NBA is doing, he says. Caitlin is puzzled. How can you not be a fan? What's wrong with the funky floor designs and the new tournament format? Jason responds, it just doesn't feel important. Can't we just play basketball? I get a headache just looking at those neon green courts. They laugh off the heavy NBA talk and switch gears to Caitlin's hilarious golf adventures. Jason teases her, did you hit someone with a golf ball? Caitlin responds, I honestly don't know how it happened. We were playing these long par 3 south. about 200 yards. I was like, there's no way I'm hitting this on my first try. So I grabbed my hybrid club, teed it up, and completely topped the shot, sending it flying to the left. I swear it almost went down the third baseline. And then I hit this woman in the shoulder on a different hole. I saw a TikTok of her the next day with a black and blue mark on her arm. Jason laughs. Well, at least you hit her good if she got a bruise. Then Jason asks Caitlin a golden question. Are you more competitive in golf or basketball? Caitlin laughs but takes a moment to think. That's a tough one. I think golf makes me more mad because I'm not good at it yet. I'm just the average golfer. And it's frustrating because you want to be good, right? It's like any sport, basketball. Football, it's that feeling of why am I not good at this? But in golf, it's an individual sport and we're used to playing team sports. So when I mess up, it's all on me. That's what gets to me. Caitlin wraps up the conversation by looking ahead to life beyond basketball. She shares her thoughts on how she could combine her marketing background with her love for the game. Whether it's working to grow the sport, mentoring young athletes, or creating new opportunities for women in sports, Caitlin's vision for the future is as dynamic as her game. It's clear that she's already thinking about how to make an impact far beyond her playing years. Jason asks, what would Caitlin Clark be doing if basketball wasn't in the picture? You were a marketing major, so would you have gone into that world, or would you have pursued something else? Caitlin thinks for a moment before answering. Oh, that's tough. If my basketball career ended, I still think I would have been involved in sports because it was such a big part of my childhood and my life. Maybe I'd work in the front office of a sports organization or something like that. Not on the coaching side, but more in operations, handling things like free agency. I think that would be really cool. As the interview winds down, it's impossible not to feel inspired by Caitlin Clark's journey. Her humility, combined with her clear vision for the future, shows just how much she has accomplished already and how much more she's capable of. From reflecting on her achievements to sharing candid thoughts about sports and life, Caitlin's authenticity shines through every word. Her story is still being written, but one thing is clear. Whether she's dominating on the court, working in the classroom, or planning for what comes next, Caitlin Clark is leaving a legacy that's bigger than basketball. Make sure to check out the full hour-long interview on the New Heights podcast for even more insights from one of the most exciting athletes of our time. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out.